Podcast, your high source for discussions on horror, sci-fi, and fantasy. Now here are your hosts, Izzy and Matt.
Welcome back to the Cinebud Podcast. Again, we are your hosts, Izzy.
And I am Matt.
And tonight, we're going to go ahead and skip the movie section and go into the Umbrella Academy. That's our biggest highlight tonight. Big old show that just recently came out on Netflix. Matt and I have been consuming it like candy. But first off, let's go ahead and start with our...
No movies. Yeah,
Never
neither of those things.
There it is. Video games. We're going to start with video games. So, in regards to video games, no real news. We got Devil May Cry 5 story trailer that dropped.
Right.
It basically recaps every single game's story.
That's pretty
to bring
cool.
it up to par, essentially. But let's talk about what we've been playing recently. Matt, let's start with you. What have you been playing?
I finally caved in and got Dark Souls.
For the Switch, right?
Yeah, for the Switch.
All right.
Exactly. And it's really in depth and like crazy and super difficult and very frustrating, and I'm just like wrapping my head around everything. Like you just told me about dual wielding, and it like blew my mind a little bit. I'm definitely gonna try and do something like.
Surprised you didn't discover that earlier.
Well,
like
no, I just didn't even think about
the
it.
shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I like fighting sword and shield because I'm like super
Zelda.
into Zelda. Yeah,
For sure.
And yeah, that's not gonna be everyone's play style for sure. So yeah, this game is really insane and very scary at times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and ridiculous, but yeah, I'm super into it. I like how super in-depth RPG style it is.
Very RPG, yeah.
Yeah, super hardcore.
Unforgiving.
Yeah, my friend was telling me there's like even meters that aren't even visible that are like all calculated into, like he's talking about poise meter, like being that if you are struck and
how much you are until you stagger.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a meter there that you can level, but
Correct.
right. Yeah.
It doesn't show up in this game? Because I feel like it does in the latter games.
Oh, as an actual meter?
Like you can see percent, the math on it.
Oh, okay. No.
Like your poise is 5 or 6.
Not in this game. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, I can't wait to get further. Yeah, I wish I hadn't gotten the master key because I like am open to areas that are like impossible for me to do anything in now, and like
Sure.
I'm just frustrated because I want to go there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but I should have chosen something different because it would have dictated me a little bit further. Because I don't know. I almost don't like how open world it is because of that.
Well, honestly, I feel like the key's good because then those are shortcuts that you can take versus having to go through that entire level to get to the shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
I gotcha.
it's kind of that's pretty much the benefit or a reason why you would want to choose that. Not necessarily to immediately explore it,
right?
But to have access to it when needed, like it conveniently.
I feel you. Yeah,
but I also understand the other side of the coin.
Yeah, so I'm not very far in the game yet. I think I need to get through the Land of the Drakes next to like figure out
Valley of the Drakes.
Valley of the Drakes, right? Exactly.
Job with that undead dragon.
Yeah, that thing was terrifying. But just to figure out, I think I need to go to Blighttown next, actually.
Okay, sounds about right.
Yeah. So
because you just beat the Bell Gargoyles, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, this game is super.
Intense?
super.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've recently been playing Salt and Sanctuary.
Yeah.
So I've been talking your ear off about this game since I got it. It was recently released on Xbox One, I think like for almost a month now. And I love this game. It's essentially been compared to the first Dark Souls. Speaking of Dark Souls, it's been compared to it up and down throughout, and you can see it while or you can also feel it playing this game just in the difficulty alone. Aesthetically, it looks just like though the developers of this game, by the way, is called Ska Studios, like the music, and the developers actually have their own unique art style.
Nice.
based on like their past games as well. The Dishwasher series, Undead Samurai series, as well as Charlie Murder, their previous releases. And this is kind of like their biggest game that they've released yet. And it's all got the same type of like violent, gory play style. So you think of this as it's got like, it's Dark Souls, but aesthetically it's got like these almost like hand-drawn art, very like crude and grim.
Cool.
And, just these unique looking monsters and stuff.
Did you ever play Braid?
Yeah.
It kind of looked similar in the art style, as far as I could tell.
Interesting.
Not quite as
Okay.
hand painted.
That's very painted. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's super hand painted, but like in a similar
It's a weird
vein.
fucking game.
I love that game. That's probably why I mentioned that. But I'm not much of a gamer, obviously. Like I'm like super old with it. That's
Gotcha.
probably a very deep and wrong reference.
No problem. But no, yeah, it's been very satisfying. Again, the mechanics are just like Dark Souls. I just beat it finally. Now I'm on my second playthrough, New Game Plus. You immediately notice the difficulty with the bosses.
I'm sure.
As well as the up percentage of receiving salt. Instead of souls, you receive salt.
Right.
And that's how you level up. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I love this game. Salt and Sanctuary. Recommend it to anybody. I'm pretty sure it's on every single major platform now.
Very cool.
So yeah, try it out.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to TV. I just want to cap some news real quick before we get to our biggest news for the TV, or our highlight, I guess that we would call it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been news chatter about the Critters TV show being released on the Shudder app. Love this app. If you've listened to any of these previous episodes, you know how much love I have for it, so I won't even cover that. Well, with Shudder, they're releasing Critters, the new binge. That's what the TV show is called. I believe it's just going to be like a mini series, and apparently picking up where the films left off, or at least within the canon of so. Because I think the last one they were in space or some craziness, but
right.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen any of the films. I think it was Beyond the Void podcast. Actually, I listen to very frequently. They actually just recently covered all 4 of the Critters movies, so now I feel like I'm a little refreshed on them,
right?
And ready
That's
for
cool.
the TV show. And I spaced the date on when it's being released, but I do know it's the end of this month, I believe.
Nice.
The end of March. Yeah,
that's cool.
So again, it's Critters new binge on the Shudder app. Go ahead and check that out. Some other news I had was what I've been talking about, and again, Shudder, Joe Bob Briggs. His show that he kept saying that he was going to have a weekly show. That's finally going to begin, and it's going to be this month as well.
Cool.
And I believe it's a week after the Critters New Binge. I think Critters New Binge is this upcoming week, and then after it's Joe Bob's show.
I heard the guys on last podcast talking about Joe Bob the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
I think it was a side story.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. I can't remember who was freaking out, or who was talking about how awesome he was, but yeah.
Oh yeah, he's great, man. With you just watch him and like see how knowledgeable he is. Just watching a movie with him, you'll see what all the fuss is about for sure. But yeah, I'm really excited for the show. It's just like going to be like his old show, Monster Vision on TNT, where he's going to have 2 features, and it's going to be on a Friday night. And
cool.
I just can't wait to see like what films those are, because we've already seen a pretty good handful with the 3 specials. Was it 3 or 2? Yeah, 3 specials that he recently released on Shudder. So can't wait to see what's in store. Again, Joe Bob Briggs, The Last Drive-In, and I think it's still going to be called The Last Drive-In. I don't see why not. And yeah, that TV series should be coming out this month as well.
Super.
Yes, super, super indeed. So,
awesome.
Of course, this week we are skipping, but we still have some more news in store. So, what I do want to talk about right now, real quick, is we will not be covering the entirety of Umbrella Academy. We have not both seen the entirety of it.
Because I'm a busy dude.
It's all right. It's okay. However,
episode 8 was shocking this morning.
I was gonna say with that cliffhanger ending, you held strong.
Well, I had to come here. I wanted to watch more.
You said 2:30.
Well, I had time, but yeah.
It's all right. All right. So, and we're also going to go ahead and compare some comic book comparisons from what I've read in regards to the comic. I've read the first 2 trades, and I have out of the 3. They have 3 trades currently out. I have not. I'm currently reading the latest one, which is called the Hotel Oblivion, I believe.
Cool.
So I'll just basically run comparisons from the first one, which is Apocalypse Suite, I think it was called, and the second one is Dallas.
Okay,
So,
and they kind of intertwined both those trades into this first season.
the
correct?
show is an amalgamation of elements
With
of both.
vast difference.
Yes. Oh, huge differences.
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
Some are huge anyway, but yeah. So Matt, you go ahead and lead since you still have a couple episodes to go, and I do not want to spoil the rest of the show for you. So
Sure, I'll ask you some questions.
Perfect.
As to like, so who is your favorite out of all the children so far? Like, can we get some ranking, like 1 out of 7 here? I know who's
Jesus,
who
we gotta
number
go all,
7's gonna be.
just not
Just
top
real
3.
quick, if you can.
Okay. Number 5 is number 1 for sure. And then we have.
Who's your second favorite?
I know. I'm thinking number 4. It'd have to be number 4.
Who is?
And then my third is going to be number 2.
Number 4 is
The Seance.
Klaus. Klaus. Okay, and then
He's called the Seance in the
you have
comic.
Klaus and then Diego.
Yes. And then
Okay,
Diego,
as your top 3.
even though he's kind of a mama's boy in the show.
Okay, cool. For some reason in my top 3, I have number 5. I have a weird sympathy for Luther, and
It's the show.
I feel so bad for him.
You do in the show. Yeah, you totally feel bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, he only did what he felt was right, and he was wrong, but he tried.
Yeah, but his
Yeah,
family was also right to say, okay, dude, stop moping. Let's go.
truth.
Like, you're an
Yeah.
adult.
I just feel bad for him.
Yeah.
He's an adult monkey man.
They have plenty to complain about where it's beyond. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Truth. And I don't know if I liked Diego enough to put him in my top 3, but I definitely loved Klaus, so he's in my top 3. But I do like Diego, and for some reason I can't remember the rumor girl's name.
Allison.
Allison, thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think Allison and Diego are sort of tied with me, like interchangeable. I do like Ellen Page in this equation too, but it's like her storyline is so
She's an afterthought till later.
It's
yeah.
It's almost hard to rank her amongst the kids, and like that's kind of fucked up because that's kind of the crux of the whole story.
And I'm not going just by power. I'm going by personality as well, like how they hit me.
Yeah, sure. I think I've mostly cringed a lot with that just because of the love interest, that dude. Like, I just think he's such a creepazoid. And the love interest of Ellen Page, who is like the prosthetic eye guy eventually, you'll come to find. Yeah, that whole nonsense. I loved all the little Sidewinder like storylines that happened. So there's okay, so we have the council, is that what it's called?
Commission.
The commission, thank you. So the commission storyline in number 5, his whole entire thing. We have Ellen Page's whole storyline on the side with the kid's childhood, childhood being another like storyline, all being within that. And we have Klaus, his whole storyline, and him going back in time and going to Vietnam and changing through that. Dude, everyone's like fleshed out like stories have felt more like story arcs than it has been character building.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way that it all unfolds is so inviting and fun to like experience.
Yeah, the way they presented it, for sure.
Man.
Yeah, they presented it very well.
And you even get insight into Mom. I want more info on Pogo. But You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, all I have to say is they do give way more information about him. Well, actually, they don't.
What, Pogo?
No, yeah, you really don't in either version. You don't get much information.
He's just kind of there.
You get his story. You know, you kind of
Okay.
just get it as it goes. You're kind of you make the idea in your
Logical
head.
jumps.
Exactly.
I feel that's kind of cool, but yeah, I guess you just accept that he was a maid. And it was like
I guess you
going
do in
on,
the show, yeah. Because let me point out one of the big differences real quick.
Sure.
Those apes are space apes,
Okay.
and he's not the only one in the comic. There's actually one on the police force as well.
Interesting.
And I think there's another but of course because of the professor.
And that
But
has
there's-
something to do with Luther.
Well, they're from Mars.
Okay.
And Luther, his body
Yeah.
is actually Martian gorilla.
Okay.
He wasn't like, whereas in the show he's injected I'm assuming simian blood or something.
Something like that. But I'm assuming that this is eventually going to all come around and tie together with some sort of conspiratorial like space plot or something.
Really?
Eventually in the future. Because do they tell you anything more about the serum that Luther was injected with in the
No.
last 2 episodes? I don't assume so.
No.
Right, exactly. You only
Yeah.
get what you've gotten so far, and there is a lot left to be assumed, and
That's
so
true.
they're going to fill it in with future, episodes. I think they're going to grill Pogo and like figure it out, or like get into Mom's programming or something.
They definitely elaborate on Mom way more in the comic.
Okay.
You get way more information on Mom. I like
Cool.
that difference. That was cool. Yeah, the Ellen Page's creepy boyfriend.
Yeah.
He was made for the show. It's complete different person who is like in love with her or whatever.
Okay.
But I see why they made that change, because it's it's actually a group and not a person in the comic, and they're very extreme.
Sure.
Yeah,
no, it seemed like it was like a very calculated
So it's
thing.
still that same scenario. It's just a group versus one,
okay.
or one versus a group. But I
It seemed
really
a lot
like that
for
change.
one person to be able to do that.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that change, but whatever. Who cares?
Right.
It played its part.
Okay.
Like it was.
There's already plenty of characters. I would rather have
yeah.
my character development be what it was in this show, rather than fill a couple more people in, because I love Hazel and Cha-Cha. I don't want to give that up. Those two are two of my favorite characters in this show too. Dude, I just loved everybody pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely made everyone more likable in the show.
Okay.
Everybody's way more harsher in the comic. For example, I called Diego Mama's boy earlier because he is in the show. In the comic, he's very hard, very grilled still, but he's not soft at all.
Okay.
Like, he's very just gung-ho.
That's funny. I've heard that Gerard Way, the writer creator of this comic book from My Chemical Romance, the lead singer, he based these characters off of people that were in his life, like
of course, yeah,
personal archetypes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So he's probably just very much so personifying them and then exaggerating them to a degree where it's a comic book.
Another thing is Klaus. Unless they elaborate on him more in the next season, which I'm not sure if they will, if they don't.
He
now.
has such an interesting potential.
He has so much more potential that was not shown. I was very sad.
Yeah,
because he has some cool fucking powers.
Yeah,
like,
he's gonna
you
be
haven't
able
seen
to.
Nothing.
Yeah,
like
it's gonna be awesome.
He displays some cool stuff. One cool change, another change I liked. Ben. He's not in the comic. It's really cool how he's like tagging along with Klaus. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's just in the background of some shots. Like,
but he's still
chilling
like,
occasionally. He's like sitting on the couch.
Actually, yeah. Can I change my top 3? Screw Diego. If we're just doing the TV show, screw Diego. Let's put Ben in there. He's
in your
my
top
number 3.
3.
He's my number 3.
Really, he's
Ben.
just such a subtle character.
That's enough for me.
Okay.
Again, like just personality wise,
Yeah.
like how they hook me.
I want to figure out how Ben
Hazel would have if he didn't
want
want to, fuck an old lady, and that just threw me off. I was like, all right, I'm good.
This
is a weird change.
Just trying to get what he can before the end of the world, I guess.
Sure.
But I mean, they're time travelers, so I don't really know why they can't just go to a different. Yeah, but I guess he's just done because he's.
And it was
so
a
many
fun thing to
people.
play with creatively.
Yeah.
Really, that's all it really was. Because, in the comic, they're just a couple psychopaths, and
Right.
they really don't have a story. And it's cool how they fleshed them out in the show. That's really cool. They did it way more.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And, they actually take off their helmets in the show. In the comic, they never take them off.
They never do.
Oh, no, they're on there for good. It's freaking weird.
So when they
always wearing them.
get into hotels and stuff, they're just wearing it.
They're in the
inside
restaurant
hotel.
wearing them and shit.
In a restaurant wearing them?
At the cafe. Yeah, that same cafe is there. The lady's not an old lady; it's just some fat lady.
That's so crazy.
And they're not like there's no romance, nothing like that.
Huh?
You know? And they're just vicious. They're brutal. They're freaking brutal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm into it. That's very.
I'm pretty sure it's two dudes, not a dude and a chick. But I like how it's Mary J. Blige. That's cool. I don't care. I think that's really cool.
Super awesome.
And the names are swapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hazel is Cha Cha.
Hazel is Cha Cha.
Yeah. And
That's
Cha Cha
funny.
is Hazel. Yeah.
What was I gonna ask?
That must be fun to do that.
Yeah.
As a creator and still having, creative freedom over the other medium of it and just let's mix it up.
Sort of mix it up, right?
Yeah.
And so there's I have 2 more episodes to go, so there's some more plot development to be happening, but so they never get into how Ben died specifically. Not yet, at least. I don't know if they're going to in the next 2 episodes, but if they do, I'll be stoked.
Right.
And this cliffhanger has me shook. Allison. God.
Right.
Yeah. But 5 is a time traveler, and I want him to fix things. But yeah, we'll see. I doubt it.
You'll see.
Yeah. I might have been dreaming or heard hearsay, but I heard that Gerard Way has plans for future seasons.
Good.
Yeah.
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 Like I said, the 3rd comic, Hotel Oblivion, that could very well be the next season.
Awesome.
It has a lot to do with the professor. A lot.
Word.
So far.
The professor?
Yeah, I feel like it's in the past right now.
Oh, that's really
weird.
that's
I'm
really really cool.
What? In the comic. I'm talking about the comic.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see stuff with the kids and them fighting
right.
crime
We don't
as
we
children
don't get
and
much
stuff.
of that. Yeah. It's just 5.
Right. But yeah, because he's a kid the whole time.
So I don't. Yeah.
I wanted more of him as an adult.
In the
I really did.
In the show, does it say that he's permanently a child because of the travel or the calculations?
No, it doesn't say that he's a child. It says that he a child permanently. That he got math wrong and wound up in a younger body, and so
where he last was. Yeah.
Right, and so he'll just have to age.
Because in the comic, he's permanently a child.
That's so cool.
Like he can't grow up.
That's so cool. I would way rather have that.
Right? Yeah. And Klaus can fly. I'm like, why can't he fly?
Random. That's really cool. Because, dude, if Klaus could fly, dude, I would not be want him to fly over.
Oh, technically, all of them can. They have these levitating belts. They hit a button. And they all
that's
fly,
so
dude.
cool.
Yeah, they all fly. Because, did you see the Rumors episode yet? It's called the. Have you heard?
That was
Rumor?
the latest episode. Yeah.
So you saw her interaction with her daughter, and her daughter saying, "Tell me this story and that story."
Yes.
Okay, cool. I can talk about this. So, those stories she's talking about are in the comic. And I thought that was really cool how she said, "Tell me the story about the Eiffel Tower." There was a battle where they actually fought a living Eiffel Tower as children.
That's really cool. And her outcome was the same as what the comic happened? Or
They don't, well, obviously she doesn't tell her about it.
Right.
Or she has before, but the viewer doesn't hear about it. But in the comic, they literally battle it, and it ends up, I forgot somehow, it ends up falling onto the Academy and just destroys it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, living Eiffel Tower.
And then also when it showed Creepy Boy as Young Boy, he mentions Dr. Killjoy, I think it's called, or something like that. There's an evil doctor who creates robots in the comic who they battle as children, and then he pops up later as well. So it sucks that, you know, these events, you don't see them occur on the show. However, I thought it was okay. Like, okay, cool. Like they at least nodded to it or mentioned it as a way to say like they exist. Kind of like the Netflix show with Marvel in the beginning. You know, they mention it to say it exists. So I was like, all right. I mean, that's okay. And I'm hoping second season does bring some of those
super villain elements to it.
Yeah.
It would be cool.
We didn't really have that. Yeah.
Hazel and Cha-Cha are as close as we get to super villain.
So yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's
you
true.
were asking me how I liked the head of the commission, or at least like the highest person that we found. In the show.
Want to talk about that difference? Yeah.
Yeah, she was really cool. I liked her. She seemed like very human. Like she was more so than or something.
Okay.
Or.
Just a badass.
Perhaps that, or I don't understand why you would act like that if you were a human being. I don't know.
Oh, so okay. Well, I guess if you have control of time,
I suppose maybe,
and you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, and you can just decide
your ego is probably huge.
That this is where the world ends. Yeah.
Your ego is probably as big as the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, what's the big difference with her?
Well. First off, it's not called the Commission.
Okay.
It's called the Temps Moranis or something like that. It's a different name.
Mm-hmm.
And it's led by a goldfish.
Okay.
Yep.
Led by a goldfish. That's cool.
Yeah. Android body with fish globe for a head.
Uh-huh.
And the fish is inside.
He's just swimming around.
That's who the boss is.
Wow. I wonder if they have that in the show.
Well, that's who she's playing. They replaced it with her. That's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, "Why? That would have been cool." I see how, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why there's no robots. That's why there's no Eiffel Tower that's alive. Oh, Lincoln Monument comes to life when they're kids. You know, stuff like that.
That's so cool.
It's like, right? I get it. It's grounded. It's Netflix, but that would have been cool, man.
Maybe they'll do some crazy flashbacks later.
I mean, I guarantee the show is successful.
Oh,
I don't see why it wouldn't be. So
I
maybe
hear everyone talking about
they'll stretch their legs more in second season. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool. Do some way more comic booky stuff.
Why not?
I mean, they already done so many comic book things.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they got a dude on, they got comic booky stuff in there. They stretch it a bit, but
I really like Ellen Page's powers.
Yeah.
They're tied to her emotions, and she can resonate sound within her body and transfer it into physical power, basically.
Yeah, and I can't wait to chat about those differences later with you.
Nice,
it's great.
Yeah, once I finish this episode.
But either way, yeah, she's very destructive.
I'm sure it'll just be a blurb in the next episode if we talk about it. But
sure.
What do you give an Umbrella Academy out of 10?
I'm gonna give this show 9 out of 10.
Nice.
It's leaving that 10 gap because it left some things I left wanting, but at the same time was still satisfied.
Great. Yeah, you were happy with most of the changes then.
Yeah, I actually was. Yeah, definitely happy and understood why.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the absences I was still yearning for.
Sure.
Mostly with Klaus.
Okay.
Because he that's why he's on my top 3 because of his comic counterpart.
Really, I really loved Klaus from the show for sure. He was frustrating and annoying.
Yeah, and that's fine.
I really liked
that. Didn't bother me, but his potential wasn't there.
Right.
I was really bummed.
I'm enjoying it to the point where I'd agree with you. 9 out of 10.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that's about it.
All right. So that's all we got tonight on the Cinebud Podcast. Again, you can all find us on all social media. Hit us up on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating review. You can find myself, Izzy Cinebud or Excessive Suppressant. Find my music as well. Matt, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at great.strength. You can find me on Twitter at coriandersprig. And that is where I do most of my social media. So, yeah.
Word. All right. Again, we are the Cinebud Podcast. Saying out.
Peace.